Merch Minds Podcast, episode 117. And my name is Glenn, YouTube channel Hustler Hacks. Yong is here. Yong, how's the time change?
Screwing me up, man. Screwing me up big time.
Did you even go to work today?
Of course I went to work, man. What kind of question is that?
Okay, sorry. I don't know. You looked a little sleepy and a little sluggish. I was like, you probably didn't even go to work.
Ah, dude. Well, no, I mean, you know what? You know what's funny is I recall having this conversation last year, okay, after daylight saving. And I know it's only 60 minutes, but man, last year I was tired. And then again yesterday, because we normally record either Friday or Mondays, right?
Yeah.
Clearly we didn't record last Friday. So I was thinking, well, we're gonna record on Monday. Man, that damn daylight saving messed me up big time, dude.
You told me it was allergies, and now
I told you it was both, man. I told you it was freaking. It's only 60 minutes, but I felt like I lost hours of sleep. But not just that, my allergies were kicking my ass. So I was a hot mess yesterday.
a hot mess. So, in case people are wondering, like, what happened to the podcast last week? So, Yong went to the trip. We didn't get to record. He was gone. He came back. And then we have the whole allergies thing and stuff. So now we had to move it. But now we're here. That's what's most important. Right?
Yo, man, are you gonna put that all on me now? What the hell?
No, what? I'm just telling everybody you were gone. You were at RJ's thing. Anything you want to share about that?
It wasn't RJ's thing, but I did go to a mastermind last week. No, seriously, it wasn't RJ's thing. I did go to a mastermind last week. Was that last week? Man, it seems like it was forever. Yeah, it was last weekend. I was in Orange County, and obviously I can't talk too much about what we discussed, but basically it was a mastermind put on by some of the leaders of the community. A bunch of people flew in. I flew in, and it was a cool mastermind because they had a few presenters. But other than that, it was just everyone just engaging, having conversations, right? That's what was cool about it. Uh, so I encourage everyone, man, create your own mastermind, okay? How many times do we have to tell you guys? Even if you can't do it physically, you can do it virtually through the magic of the internet. You know, this thing called the internet, okay? You can do hangouts with other people, okay? Create your own group because I swear, man, that's probably the best thing you can ever do for any business. I mean, every time I get together with these guys, I feel like I learn so much.
Yeah, Young's numbers are going to explode. Maybe they've already exploded because we haven't talked about numbers in a while. So numbers, I'll start out with mine, and they're pretty rough. Actually, so 6 days ago, I was doing pretty good. I was back up to like 350 a month range. Like, I think I sold a good amount one of the days. And then after that day flew off, I haven't seen good days since.
You're back on the schedule though too, right?
I'm back on schedule. The numbers are not back on schedule. They're trying to get back up.
I'm telling you, man, it's getting tough.
So last 7 days, 74 products sold. Low. That's probably the lowest, I think, in a while. After I saw a good increase, like I said, probably the last week, it was really good, and then it just like slowly. 7 returns, which is actually high. Last time I was like at 2 or 3, gone up again. Estimated royalties $236.83.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's where I'm at right now. The other sales, international stuff here and there, but nothing amazing to throw in there.
My numbers are a little similar. They have dropped as well. Here, so let's go over my last 7 days. 82 products sold, 3 returns. Product purchases $1,604.35. Estimated royalties $317.08. Significant drop from a couple of weeks ago because remember I was in the $400 range as far as the royalties, and I think that was the case for you, if I recall correctly. So definitely lost about $100 there, and I think it's just going to get worse because just based on the time of the year, but also because, again, I think merch is just getting really saturated.
Oh, what a way
So,
to stay positive for the listeners.
do you want me to lie? Hey, you know what? Next week we're all gonna make thousands of dollars in royalty guaranteed.
Finally.
How's that?
You know what happened? Well, St. Patrick's Day for sure is already this Sunday.
I think it's on the 17th.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's already in 5 days.
okay, well, dude, take the bass out of your voice, man. I can hear you just fine, man. You ain't gotta yell.
Sorry, I'm
Uh,
used to talking into the camera. So I'm loud.
um, but yeah, I think after St. Patty's Day, sales will be pretty much dead for the most part, in my opinion. I know we have Easter coming up. From my own personal experience, Easter's never been a good holiday for shirts. I don't know about you.
Nah, not really. And I think even for St. Patrick's Day, I think I sold a couple last couple of days, but I think that's also been, I
Hmm.
guess, for the decline. I mean,
That's
I've
what I'm
sold
saying.
more like last week of St. Patrick's Day.
That's what
So
I'm saying. So I think after St. Patty's Day, I think sales are going to be really hard to get. I'm predicting. Let's see. I don't think Mother's Day is going to do that well as far as T-shirts. I think the next best holiday for the T-shirts would probably be Father's Day.
and Mother's Day can do good. I've done good on Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I
Well,
should probably start doing that now that you brought it up.
okay. Well, we'll see. I mean, maybe it'll be different for me this year. For me, Mother's Day has always been bad, but Father's Day has always been good.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I probably should start working on those now. Get
Um,
these Mother's Day shirts up.
but yeah, so those are that's merch. Let's see. Um, my my live designs, dude, they dropped big time. I went from what 4,000 over 4,000 listings about a month ago. I when I checked last night, I had a little under 3,000. So
Yeah.
I had about 1,000 designs drop off. Again, that's because I've been primarily focusing on KDP. As far as KDP is concerned, I think I have somewhere between 650 journals, maybe 700 journals live now. I think last time I checked, I did break the 100 mark point. Again, nothing to write home about, but hey, I created an income stream I didn't have before, whether it was $50, $100, I don't care. That's an income stream I didn't have before. So I'm proud of what I did. Um, and before we get on with this week's episode, just wanted to give a huge shout out to our good friend Dean and Courtney. They were in Orange County last week. If you guys don't remember Dean and Courtney, they're the ones that we interviewed a couple of months ago. Um, they bought their own DTG printer.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, when I saw them in Orange County, uh, they've been growing and scaling ever since. Man, they were telling me that they're about to buy another printer. So good for
Wow.
those guys. They did say though, it is a lot of work.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
I bet.
so let's put an asterisk there in case anyone wants to venture into that route of um, buying your own printer and fulfilling your own orders. They did say it is a lot of work. So just be prepared if that's something that you guys want to consider. Um, Before we get into today's topic, hey, just this ain't even merch related, okay? Did you hear about this freaking crazy college bribery scheme that's been going on?
Oh yeah, I did see
It
that.
just came out today, man.
I did see that.
What the hell is going on?
Wasn't it
That is
like
nuts,
celebrities paying coaches and
dude.
stuff for like
It's not just celebrities. Apparently, like just people. I mean, there are a few celebrities
that were
apparently
involved?
that's involved, but apparently just people that are just well off in general that have the money. They're paying off certain people to get their kids into some of the more prestigious universities in the country. We're talking not just Stanford, but we're talking USC, UCLA,
UT Austin was on there.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Austin. I think they said Harvard and Yale, but man, you talk about the privilege, being privileged. Jeez, what is that about, huh?
Did you
That
ever
is.
play? Did you play sports in high school or middle school or high school?
I I played uh, high school football up until my sophomore year.
Okay.
After I came back from summer vacation, all the guys outgrew me. And I couldn't play football anymore because I was too small, man. Everyone outgrew me.
Did you
And I
ever?
was
You didn't get hurt or anything, or any like main
nah,
injuries?
man,
Or okay, that's
no.
good.
And then I couldn't play basketball because I was just too short. So I really excelled in wrestling. Um, so I did wrestling. I
Cheerleading, um,
cheerleading, synchronized swimming, um, all that
beer
equestrian.
pong.
Uh-huh. Beer pong is a very, very skilled sport, by the way. But um,
I was just gonna say because back in high school, like that was the only thing I didn't really know. Well, middle school and high school that I didn't really know about, which were like politics with like parents and coaching.
mhm.
Like to them, because to me, I was just like, man, we play basketball with like the kids during like lunchtime, after school, blah blah blah. You know who's good. And then once it started getting to like organized and like all of that, I was like, what's the deal with like all these parents like talking to like the coaches over and over again? And then we had one kid in high school. I mean, he just sucked bad at basketball. Like the first
Uh-huh.
open gym, he like shot it. It went over the basketball went over the backboard and like into like the stands, like bleacher area. Like
Oh
he was
wow.
that bad. But his dad bought like brand new uniforms for the team. So he was like easily on the team. He rode the bench, but he was on the team.
Mhm.
So it kind of just makes me
Wow.
like think about more of like the politics side of I guess
Yeah. No.
parents and
Here's the thing. I mean, I have my own opinions on what happened on the news that came out. And I think I truly believe it happens more than we actually think.
oh yeah, for sure.
Um, but uh, but man, but apparently like millions and millions of dollars been paid out. Um, and apparently it's I mean, the university never knew, right? I mean, they're not to blame, but apparently there's like some guy who kind of like just spearheaded this whole thing. Um, and and
Mastermind.
he just masterminded this whole scheme and just took in like millions and millions of dollars just to get um, students into the colleges. Man, that is nuts.
Hey, Young works at a university. Talk to him.
That is nuts. But you know what? Speaking of education, we do have a really good story. Besides that, we are interviewing our good friend Mitch Fairfield from Texas. I think he's in Austin. In fact, I know for a fact he's in Austin because um, we almost had breakfast a couple of years ago in Austin. But he's someone that I've been trying to get on the show for a while, and with Mitch, it's never been about the money. For him, it's always been about um,
Teaching
taking
others.
taking this opportunity. Okay, print on demand, whether it's merch or RedBubble, and teaching his students. Okay, the value of not just designing, but teaching them uh, um, the value of making money and running a business. Right?
For yourself. Hmm.
Yeah. So let's talk to Mitch. He's a good guy, and after the show, I really, really encourage every single one of you guys to go subscribe to his channel. Let's talk to Mitch. This is a really exciting show. This is going to be like the feel good interview. And he's a good friend of ours, Mitch, someone we met a couple of years ago when we were in Denver.
Denver.
Mitch, welcome to the show. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Mitch. First of all, thank you for having me on the show.
Anytime.
And my name is Mitch Fairchild. I'm a graphic design teacher in Hutto, Texas, big city of Hutto. It's I've been in graphic design now for going on 8+ years, teaching it. I've been doing it for about 20 years. And I teach everything from, we do basic design to animation to video and audio editing to you name it, we do it.
Okay, that's great, Mitch. Okay, I was gonna say we lost your video there for a second, but you're back. But that's great. Look, here's the thing. Okay, and this is why I wanted to have you, because I've been asking you for some time now, and you've been just kind of blowing me off. I finally
No,
got
man,
you.
I've been barbecuing, dude. Barbecuing is like the thing, man.
Hey, you know what? We'll get into that because I like barbecue myself, man. Okay, so we have a lot in common here.
There you go.
But you guys know how I feel about education. I think education is very important, and so therefore, you guys know how I feel about teachers. I have nothing but the highest respect for what you do, and what you do for the kids, and I really mean that.
Thank you.
So, what grade do you teach?
I teach middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th.
That's super cool, man. That's super cool.
And what's really cool is they don't at least here in Texas, we don't offer graphic design in middle school. We're one of the very few schools in Texas that offers graphic design.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, this kind of tells my age, but we didn't have graphic design, period.
Yeah, no, those Apple IIe's back in the day, they wouldn't hold on to graphic design. They wouldn't.
Right.
I don't know if they could do that back then.
Glenn, when were you introduced?
I didn't know about it until maybe like college or like sophomore, junior year. So even in high school, it's like I knew of Photoshop, but I didn't know like graphic design is what they were calling like.
Right.
Like it's this whole thing. So, yeah, not until like college.
Yeah, because I remember originally you said you went to college to do programming or something.
Yeah, computer science. Yeah,
computer science, and then you were just like, "Oh, this is way over my head. I'm gonna get into graphic design." But yeah, no, I mean, I was introduced to graphic design late in high school, and even then, I was like, "What is this, man?" But no, I think that's super cool. Again, Mitch, that you're doing that. But again, we met a couple of years ago. This is how dedicated this guy is. He lives in Texas. We had that meetup, workshop, seminar, whatever you want to call it, in Denver. Freaking Mitch drives all the way from Austin, attends the seminar, and then right afterwards he drives back home. And you actually documented that on your channel, yeah?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that was a blast. I loved that whole experience, meeting everybody, having a chance to finally meet Margaret, put a face to the voice, and I mean that whole thing was really cool.
Yeah, it was cool, and it was really good meeting people, and that's something Glenn and I really enjoy doing, and it's something that we want to do more, but it's so much hands-on work.
I'm sure
there's so much work that we have to get done behind the scenes, and it's just yeah, it's a lot of work. But so let's talk about Mitch. So so you have a YouTube channel.
I do. I try to document what I'm doing. It used to be Mitch on Merch when I was doing just the stuff myself. Then I kind of did a branding change and started focusing on my students once we started getting deeper and deeper into what we're doing now.
Okay, so explain that. So it was, like you said, it was called Mitch on Merch, and it was just you kind of documenting
my
your own personal,
total, just merch by Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And then go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask you. So, what made you change it to your current channel, Student Like a Boss?
Yep, Student Like a Boss. Just watching first of all, when we met in Colorado, I had said that I was going to go back and teach my students. I was going to introduce them to. Initially, it was merch by Amazon, and just the whole pre-on-demand process. And then when I got back, so I think that was like October. Was that October of like 16? Anyway, when we got back, I didn't introduce it into the curriculum until like the last 3, maybe 4 months of class. So there wasn't a whole lot they could do. And so then I realized, if I'm going to make this work, if it's going to be, if it's going to impact these kids, because I teach at a Title I school and I've always taught at a Title I school. So I have a heart for students who are, in need and just don't have a lot of money and come from families that are broken and families that, financially are not stable. So I'm always looking for ways to, better these kids' lives. And I thought, man, what a great way to help these kids help themselves if you introduce them to some kind of program that could help them start early, which we're talking middle school, start early and, find a way to start making a little side income that could possibly eventually turn into something, even bigger than that down the road. So, and when I came up with the whole student like a boss thing, it was, these kids being awesome kids, they're students like a boss, but at the same time, I want them to be entrepreneurs, students like a boss. So that's how it came about.
I got you. That's cool, man. Glenn, you're obviously the YouTube superstar here. Okay, we got the YouTube celebrity. Do you have any questions for student like a boss here?
I guess the first question. So when you started, talking about graphic design and teaching it, what was the response from students initially, and kind of learning what graphic design was?
Well, we came into the I got hired on at this school. I came from my old school. This is crazy, and y'all are gonna laugh, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. It was a Title I school. It was a Title I school that had just opened its doors. It was a international baccalaureate school, so an IB school. And so our big focus was on taking these students out of, inner city and making them, college ready. And so I got hired on there as a coach, and then they opened this new department called, it was called design back then, because we taught everything from, I taught animation, I taught video game design, I even taught students how to make shoes. Like we learned the whole design cycle and all that. And so they asked me, can you teach them graphic design? I'm like, sure, man. I've been using Photoshop. I can even do Publisher. Just tell me what you want to do. They're like, well, we don't have that. What can you do with what we got? I'm like, well, what do we got? They said, wow. we have Microsoft
Paint,
the whole Microsoft suite. No, we didn't have. Yeah, well, basically, we had Google Paint. So I'm like, and I remember back, I'm talking like a lot, like when PowerPoint first came out, I started playing around with PowerPoint, just using the shapes to make different things, make animations and stuff. And so like, I'm going to take that and then work with these kids with that. So like my first 2 years in quote unquote graphic design was teaching students how to, make stuff in PowerPoint. And so they were doing incredible things to the point where I was like getting calls from high school teachers saying, hey, these kids are doing better than my kids with Photoshop and PowerPoint. How are you doing? I'm like, it's just, I don't know. It's just something I learned along the way to, kind of cheat the system. So, and then now I'll use Google Drawings. I use Publisher, and then before we're over, we'll dive a little bit into the Vintage app and Canva, things that these students can get for free or for a very small cost. Because I don't want them, wasting. Like they don't have the money to waste $20 a month for, the Adobe Suite or anything like that.
Sure. I mean, let alone the computer. It sounds like
exactly.
So no, I think that's really great what you're doing. Again, this is like the feel-good interview of the year, if not the decade. Because I think what you're doing is awesome, and it's really cool that you're awesome. I mean, you're not teaching them design, but like you said, you're teaching them the art of business.
Yeah,
at such an early age. How are they taking that?
They loved it. I was more worried about it. I approached my principal and I told him, I said, this is what I want to do. Well, after we left you guys, I'm like, this is what I want to do. I see where our kids are coming from. Like I've had students who have had to leave school, go to work to make money for their family so that their family can have money to live on. These are like middle school students, and then come back to school the next day. And, we get mad at it because, well, why are you sleeping in my class? We don't take into consideration that, well, they're probably out working, a 12-hour job overnight, not able to do their homework. So I just had a heart to help these students, figure it out quicker than, because I was right in the middle of writing my doctorate for my doctoral program, and I was like,
I
what we're doing. It dawned on me. It's like what we're doing. The system is broken. Like it was so frustrating. Like I just walked away from it. I'm like, I can't keep studying this if it's wrong. So I just did basically a whole life change, a life shift for me. And so I approached my principals, and they're like, sounds kind of weird, but do whatever. Because like I said, when I came to the program, it was like a year old, if that. So I was able to do whatever I wanted to with it. And then, so the first year we did, like the last month of school, we did, the students created, this was 2 years ago. the students created a diary, and they put it up in back then it was Create Space, and that was kind of a big flop. So then after, and then the next year is when I saw you guys. And so like, I think like after Christmas, I started doing the curriculum, building the curriculum, so that I knew going into those last few months, I wanted to have a solid program. And so we went into that, jumped into that, and it was perfect. It was great. The students loved it, but it just wasn't enough time. So then over the summer, I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to go all year. So like we started, day one, learning all the stuff we had to learn actually the first year we had to get parent permission. So when all my students come to my class, and it is an option because not every parent, like some parents are scared of the internet, which I totally understand.
Sure.
So
I get that.
I'm like,
I get that.
So we send out home the permission slips, but I added it up. I wish I was in my classroom. I added up. It was like I have roughly 130 students, and of those 130 students, only 9 students were not allowed to do it. Mm-hmm. But they wanted to. So the thing is then, so you're like, so here's the deal. Those 9 students, I'm like, listen to what I say and just pay attention to what we do so that, when you graduate or when your parents finally give you permission, you'll know what to do. So
how cool is that, man?
But the parents are excited. I'm constantly getting emails from parents saying, this is like changing my kid's life. Like I've got a whole bunch of case studies here on the side, but I've got like one girl, and I just documented her last week. She's one of these girls like you would not. She doesn't like talk. She's not very social. She doesn't like reach out to people. And if she's in the cafeteria, those
sounds like
kids.
Glenn kind of.
Yeah, just like Glenn. So she's the girl that's like sitting by herself in the cafeteria, and she may have some friends, but they're like the kind of I guess we call them goth, whatever. But no, she's a great artist, like on paper. So she's been making, and she asked me, Mr. Fairchild, can I bring my Wacom, my drawing tablet? And I'm like, sure, bring it in. I don't care. As long as you understand that if it gets stolen or broken, it's on you. So she's like, yeah, I'll bring it in, my responsibility. So I'm like, yeah, bring it in. And so she starts doing, these incredible drawings on her tablet, putting them up in her RedBubble store, which we're using RedBubble, which we'll get into in just a minute. And she's like making sales left and right, like international sales. Like, so it's freaking. And, this is a girl who probably didn't have much value in herself, a couple of months ago. So it's been awesome.
That's a great story. Glenn, questions?
Well, I just wanted to get into, I guess, first introducing the students into RedBubble, or I don't know if you did a little bit of merch, or at least I think maybe you were
the first year
about it.
And the first year we tried merch.
Okay.
The problem was there was so much at the time merch had to wait. So when we got back from Denver, I immediately sent those things home. So I knew, when I got in, it was like 3 or 4 months for me to get in. And so it was still taking them time to, and I don't know what it is now. Is there still a wait? Do y'all know?
I think it depends on the individual.
Yeah.
And that's something else. Somebody was saying that they want proof, or they would like to see that you have stuff already up, or that you're already selling. I don't know, whatever. So I'm like, so parents are contacting me. They're like, my kid can't get in. They're telling me, he can't get it. So I'm like, screw it. I know RedBubble is 100%, anybody can do it.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So I'm like, we'll do RedBubble. And then, what's the beauty in that is these are middle school students. So T-shirts, but then you add in phone cases, and you add in pillows, and you add in all these other things that RedBubble offers. Man, they love it. So,
oh man, that's great. That's great. So do you find that the kids are motivated by the money, or they just they just enjoyed learning from teacher Mitch?
No, they love the class. Like, now you ask them, that's not a pride thing.
Okay,
they love it.
So they love the class.
If I had it, I would have loved it too. But
there's that extra motivation when it because now there's that incentive of them getting paid.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Money. Yeah,
that's cool, man.
And what's so funny is for the longest, and I challenged them too. I'm like, okay, so the first student came in like maybe 2 or 3 weeks after, and he sold his first product, and then it was like all the students are like, whoa. So then they all like catch on. So they start, and I'm like, you have to upload. The more you upload, the more chances you get of getting seen, getting purchased. So yeah, they're like constantly just putting out. I'm like, don't put out crap, put out your good stuff. And so it's been a constant process. They love it, and so our most this year, is we have a girl who sold so far. She sold just over 150 worth of product. And you have to remember, this is going all year long, so they're not
for
constantly
the week?
uploading. No, that's since we started.
Well, she's making more than all of us combined.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no, I'm not. You know, it's funny because I will. So last year when we did it for those few months, I had a student come in, and he's Mitch Fairchild. I think I'm up to $220. I'm like, you mean you sold that much product? He goes, no, that's profit. I'm like, what are you doing? Because I'm not making that much.
Yeah.
And so he's like, his dad went and got him some business cards, put a QR code on there. And he did a lot of he still does it actually. He does a lot of lacrosse because he's real big into lacrosse, which is something that's unheard of here in Texas, kind of. But lacrosse, he's real big into lacrosse, and like so his lacrosse designs are like selling left and right, man. And he just passes cards out at his lacrosse games. It's crazy.
Is lacrosse the one where you run on the field and you have like that
the stick,
the stick
with a little net thing, and then
the net. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
It's football hockey.
So it sounds like the kid, and I'm not trying to sound funny or nothing, but it sounds like he's got the little business card with the QR code. Mm-hmm. He's like doing his own version of local merch.
He is. That was before I even heard of my goal. Like he was doing stuff, and I was like, dang, this is a good idea.
That is
so awesome. Yeah, no, these kids, and they're doing incredible things. Not stuff I wouldn't even think of. They're awesome.
Are you guys still using PowerPoint, or did the school upgrade you guys to?
No, this is so. Since then, I've moved to a new school. We do have Photoshop and Publisher, but we don't. The thing is, when you add graphic design in middle school, you have high school that teaches Photoshop and Illustrator. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I can't teach them Photoshop when they get to high school. They won't have nothing to learn. So yeah, I still, and I actually have. I'm supposed to have 7th grade, but I have graphic design 1, but I actually have 6th, 7th, and 8th graders who have never taken graphic design before. So we still do we still do a lot of PowerPoint. We do a lot of Publisher, Google Drawings, and things like that. So yeah.
That is super cool, man. That is super cool. Now, how's your own personal merch doing?
Merch, it's merch by Amazon. I'm still doing a couple $100 a month, so I haven't really been focusing on it. Matter of fact, this is really sad. I've got 2,000 slots.
You're a busy guy.
I got 2,000 slots, and I've got like 996 of them full. So I've been focusing on this. Plus, and I will tell you this, and if there's any teachers out there, you need to listen to what I'm about to say. And you may know this already, but teachers pay teachers. If you are a graphic designer or if you have great curriculum, you need to be selling that stuff on Teachers Pay Teachers because there's a market there for it.
What is that?
If you're good at what you do.
What is that?
So Teachers Pay Teachers is it's a website where teachers can go to upload their curriculum.
I got you.
So say I teach graphic design, somebody else teaches graphic design, they can buy my stuff from me so that they're set for the year.
Okay.
So I've been doing a lot of that.
All right, cool, man. So tell us about your little barbecue venture, man. What happened?
Shoo. So it actually got to the point where it was taking over like our lives. Like we were doing, like Christmas would get here and we'd have orders coming in, and it was a mess, man. It was crazy. I did to the point where like I was focusing so much on that I was ignoring, stuff I should be paying attention to. So we put the halt on that for a little while.
Okay. I mean, are you you're still barbecuing?
Oh, I am, but now I'm not doing it. We're not selling it anymore.
You're not doing it commercially, but you're still doing it. Look, we had a lot of guests on the show in the past. Okay. We've been promised a lot of things. When I go out to Austin, Texas again to visit, will I get an invitation to try some of Mitch's barbecue?
Let me know when you're coming. I'll make you a whole brisket.
Is that really? Is that a promise?
Yeah, and like if you were to go anywhere else, that's like $200-$300 worth. I'll give it to you for free.
Glenn, you in?
Do it.
I'm in,
dude. Next time y'all come to Austin, let me know.
I'm there. Dude, in fact, we were supposed to meet up a couple of years ago.
About a year ago, yeah.
Yeah, about a year and a half ago. I was there. I contacted Mitch at the last minute. It was my fault. You were willing to meet up for breakfast, but I was on a schedule, so we couldn't meet. But I do appreciate the invitation.
No worries.
Mitch, do me a favor, because I think I really believe that you're onto something special. Please keep doing what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Regardless of how many subscribers you have, I want you to continue to put out content because I really, really do believe in what you're doing. Cool. And I encourage every listener of the Merch Minds podcast, please, if you guys will understand if you have kids, please go check out go check out Mitch's channel, subscribe, because like I said, this is probably like the feel good interview of the year, if not the decade. I mean, it really, really does warm your heart to know what you're doing for the kids, man.
I do want to tell one more story right quick. I did have a student approach me and say, Mr. Fairchild, I just want you to know, this was from last year when we only had like 3 months to do it. He said, Mr. Fairchild, I want you to know that I've been selling. Actually, his teacher told me, he goes, yeah, he's still selling. He wants to sell it in my class. This is his next year, the teacher he has this year. He's always wanting to upload in my class. I'm like, well, let him do it. So she said, well, yeah, but he sold like over 200 products. I went and talked to him. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He goes, Mr. Fairchild, I created my own brand. So I have all my clothes and all my stuff. It's all branded. So his own brand. So that's
dude,
like,
man, you got kids doing local merch, creating their own brand.
It's crazy.
Pretty soon they're gonna start coming out with their own software. God knows.
Bring it.
That is awesome. But seriously, man, continue what you're doing.
Will do.
I want to come out and visit you, man. I want to come visit the school if I can.
Dude, you should come visit my kids because and it's so funny because every time we talk about typography, I'm like, I got a friend. Name is Yong. He'd kick your butt if he knew you were doing. Like, Mr. Fairchild, I just want to use whatever the default is. Why you want to use a default font? That's ridiculous. So it's like a huge typography is like but yeah, no, it's a blast.
No, I think that's awesome. Glenn, any final comments for our good friend here?
Any I guess comments or questions from the parents when either before or now after that they've been doing RedBubble?
Nothing so far. The only thing I've heard from parents is great things. They love it. And speaking of Glenn, so one of the things I'm looking into and I would love to do, and the students would love to do, and I found one website that'll do it, but it's very confusing, is to do custom shoes, to put their artwork on canvas tennis shoes. That would be awesome.
Oh man, that sounds like.
And I think it's called Interest Print. I can't remember the name of the website, but they'll do it. But you got to go through Shopify and through. It's just a crazy process.
Little loopholes.
My students, my students couldn't do that yet.
Oh man, well that sounds awesome. I mean, custom shoes. Who knows what people can come out with?
Yeah. Oh man, it'd be awesome.
well, hey, seriously, man, continue what you're doing. We're gonna come out and visit.
Will do.
I want my barbecue. Because you did promise me the barbecue.
I did.
I want to visit the kids. And just one last thing. So it sounds like you launched this whole program after Denver, after the meetup. Yep. So it almost sounds like, Glenn, you and I, we encouraged Mitch to launch this program. Therefore, we should get some of the credit. Nah, I'm just joking, man. Mitch, that was all you, man. Congratulations.
Well, and that's funny because that's one thing the parents are always like. So how much of the profits does the school keep? I'm like 0. How much profits do you keep, Mr. Fairchild? I'm like 0. The kids keep 100% of the profit, whatever they make.
All them, man.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear. Less for the school, more for the kids.
Amen.
Absolutely, man. Again, congratulations. And we'll keep in touch. Yeah?
Sweet. Sounds good.
All right. Great interview with Mitch. Yes, go subscribe to his channel. I don't know why it took this long to get him on the show, but at least we got him on finally.
You know what? I know why, because I've asked him a couple of times in the past, and he had always told me he wanted a couple of success stories to share with us.
Oh, okay.
So he wanted like the semester or the quarter. I don't know what they go by over there. He wanted the semester to be over, so that way he would have a good story to share with us. But definitely, man, like teacher Mitch, like if I had a teacher like you, man, look, I would have probably had my PhD in graphic design. I don't know if there's such a thing, but
you make one happen.
But he's a good guy, man. You know what? He loves what he does. Loves the kids, and we love Mitch. I need to go pay him a visit. Okay, I want some of that barbecue. I think you and I, we should go pay him a visit. We can drag Brother Hacks if you want along, and go pay him a visit, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that'll be fun.
I was going to ask you actually question. You know what? Going back to the intro part, you said a couple of, like 1,000 designs fell off.
Yeah.
I'm assuming most of these designs were paid designs that you paid a designer, right?
What do you mean?
Like most of these designs that
they're probably a mix. probably the one, probably ones that I made, and then probably the ones that I had paid
Okay.
for.
So my question is, are you planning to re-upload those 1,000 designs? Yes or no?
Yeah,
Okay.
because that's always been my strategy, right? Is every design that falls off, I just re-upload them. I just haven't had the time because I've been uploading on KDP,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I've talked about how tedious that process is, and I don't want to get into that again. But that takes up a lot of my time.
Are you gonna alter any of them, like try to make them better? Maybe you think that it didn't sell for a certain reason, or just kind of just like a
No,
re-upload?
not just re-upload them. I think I'll tell you this much though. I'm no longer uploading on pop sockets or
Okay.
premium T-shirts. Now I know you guys knew for a while now that I wasn't uploading on premiums, but I'm no longer uploading onto pop sockets because at the end of the day, it's just they don't really sell for me, and when they do, it's only a couple bucks. So I'd rather put those designs on other products that I know will bring in a little more income.
And you're still doing the hoodies, of course. So
I'm still doing the hoodies. So absolutely.
okay. All right, sounds good. So next week, I don't know. Next week we're gonna see how the numbers go because I really want to try to get these numbers back up. Like you said, St. Patrick's Day will be done by then. So let's see where we're at for the numbers, and we'll go from there. Anything else you want to throw in?
Nope.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.